What's up, everybody? Adam here, and this is my messy office, but this is a Elegoo Centauri Carbon printer. I wrote about this for Mashable. And the reason I wrote about it for Mashable is I came across this company at IFA in Berlin a few weeks ago, and they said that this printer was ridiculously easy to set up. Like, you could set it up and start printing like fresh out of the box. And I said, nah, I don't think so. But as it turns out, yes, that is actually kind of how this works. I want to talk about this. I want to talk about the process that goes into it. Yeah, but first I just wanted to show you. Yeah, see, that is printing something as we speak. It's been printing things pretty much 24/7 for about the last week or so, ever since I got it set up. The reason I wanted to talk about this was because 3D printing to me, and this is what I wrote about in Mashable, is 3D printing always seemed inaccessible to me. Like, it just seemed like a kind of technology that I could never really get into. It seemed out of reach, because you had to learn about balancing and PLA and slicing and stuff like that, and it never really seemed like something that I could devote the time and energy to in order to learn properly, so that I could print things like a Halloween cauldron for my wife. But the folks at Elegoo said, well, maybe try this one, because maybe you can get on board it. And I said, you know what? Let's give it a shot. So I wanted to tell you a little bit about this printer, what it can do, what it has done for me so far, and maybe how it might change your perceptions about 3D printing. Let's talk about it. Hey everybody, more messy office, but I've moved to a more comfortable position now. Now I'm not sitting on the floor next to the printer anymore. It's still running in the background. You can probably still hear it. But yeah, I wanted to talk about the printer. Now, the one thing that the printer says is you can print straight out of the box, and that's absolutely true. The printer actually comes with some preloaded designs of things that you can print. This is the first thing I printed, actually. This is a reprint of the first thing I printed, because the first thing I printed actually broke. But this is the Eiffel Tower. Very cute. And like, it's really kind of cool because you can see like just the intricate detail that's built into this. I mean, it's really kind of cool. But anyway, so when I started printing things out, I didn't realize a couple of things. First of all, I didn't know what a slicer was. I mean, I kind of knew, but I didn't really know like how to use one or anything like that. So a lot of it's been a lot of trial and error when it comes to using the 3D print software, kind of like this YouTube channel. Isn't that kind of funny? But I mean, like I said, I've been printing things pretty much 24/7 for the last week. This is that cauldron that I showed you, a little Halloween cauldron. This one is actually particularly nice, a skull bowl. It's a little small, but you can put like candy in there or something like that. It's kind of fun. And then another one is this playing card holder. It's two-tone because I ran out of filament halfway through. So, but you can put playing cards in there, and you can hold like a whole bunch of cards all at once. And I printed a bunch of other stuff too. But the nice thing is that the printer is all self-balancing. So like, you don't have to. It's self-leveling and self-balancing. You don't have to like level the print table, which I honestly didn't even know was a thing. So it's a good thing it does that for me. But it's not quite. There's still some things that you have to learn in order to start 3D printing things, and most notably is you have to get software that's called a slicer. So when you go out to websites like Thingiverse or Yegi, stuff like that, you can download all these different designs. Typically, they're downloaded as STL files. But the 3D printer doesn't know what to do with an STL file, because all an STL file is a CAD file that says, this is what this thing looks like. But a 3D printer doesn't need to know what this thing will look like. The 3D printer needs to know what does this level look like, and then this level look like, and then this level, and then this level, and then this level, and then this level, and this level, all the way down to the bottom. So it's kind of like, I don't know if you've ever seen like a video of like an MRI machine. That's what an MRI machine does. Is it's basically slicing you up. That's a horrifying thought. But it's and you so what you end up being able to do is you can look like what does the thing look like as a cross section right there, and you'll be able to see that. That's what a slicer does. And so I didn't know that you needed slicer software. So like when I tried to print up a couple of STL files, the printer was like, okay, what now? That's I can't work with that. So Elegoo actually has a slicing program that you can download. It's called, creatively enough, Elegoo Slicer. So I'll put a link to that down in the show notes down. I'll put a link to like all the stuff. Like I don't know where the file is for this, but I can put a link to the Halloween cauldron and the skull and all that. I'll put those links down below. But the slicer is what takes that CAD file and then just slices it up into like, millimeter little thick chunks so that the printer knows, okay, this is what this layer looks like, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I went through 3 slicers before I found Elegoo Slicer, so it wasn't the easiest thing to do in the world. I had to expend some effort and some brain power into learning how to do this. I know, go figure. So I would say in terms of like what Elegoo's offering, yes, it is a very easy value proposition. This printer costs anywhere between like $300 to $350 to $400. So like, it's not a huge investment as far as tech's concerned. It's half of an iPhone. So like, it's not a major investment. Like there are some 3D printers out there that are really, really expensive. And then there's some that are actually cheaper than that. One thing I like about this is it's an entirely self-contained unit. There's 4 walls and a lid and all that. So it kind of, keeps itself neat, as it were. So I like that. My son used to have a 3D printer that was just basically like a table that was like open, and that didn't end well. Anyway, because it went into a teenager's bedroom. My mistake. Anyway, so I like this because it's a self-contained unit. You can print, the print bed, I believe, can handle print up to 356 millimeters in every direction. So, X, Y, and Z. So that's not the biggest, but you can print some fairly substantial things. They'll take days, like literal days, in order to do that. I want to say, so this card holder here, which is, there's not a lot to it, with a 2% infill, took about 9 hours to print. So like, you're not going to print things super fast. And then there's also like designing prints. That is a skill that I don't have. Maybe someday I'll get that skill, but that is not a skill that I have right now. So right now I'm pretty much just downloading other people's works that they put on like Thingiverse and Yagi, and there's one other one that I can't remember. Printables, maybe. Anyway, but yeah, so that's kind of how that works. And then once you find the design that you like, you just put it into the slicer and it slices everything up, and then it wirelessly transmits it over to the printer, and it just starts to go, and it's pretty cool. You can buy filament for like $15-20, give or take, on Amazon. So like, and I have printed like all of these things, and I have like another one of these card holders, and I printed 4 other different playing card holders because I'm a nerd, you see. I'm a playing card nerd. All those on like one spool, and plus my son printed up a few things too. So like, you can get a lot of mileage out of that spool of filament. But yeah, so I think one of the cool things is that you can kind of make something out of nothing. Like that's kind of a really cool feeling. You can download things for like pill boxes. You can download phone cases. You can download there's another thing I printed back here. It's like a little phone holder that I use for foldables. So it's just like a little, set of hump things over there that you can, put phones into. I printed up like a cup holder Like it's kind of cool. Like there's people out there with like really amazing skills, CAD skills, and they're really good at doing what they do. And I'm able to download those things and take advantage. But yeah, so what my thesis statement here at Mashable and for this video is if you think 3D printing is out of reach, maybe not. Maybe check out companies like Elegoo and, see what they have to offer. And if you're, kind of like on the fence, like, I don't know if I want to buy a 3D printer. I don't know if I can do it. You can, because like I'm a moron and I figured it out. So like if I can figure it out, you can definitely figure it out. So yeah, go ahead and if you want, I put a link to the Centauri Carbon in the show notes, so you can go pick one of those up if you want. But I want to hear from you too. Like if you're a 3D printer, like what are some cool things that you found? What are some cool things that you've printed up? And let's share those things down in the comments after you do the liking and the subscribing and the sharing with your friends and all that. But yeah, so for now, this is Adam, and I want to thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.